Today, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about our friends over at Manscaped. Yes, indeed. You know, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. And for, when you're out there and you're enjoying some of these games and it gets kind of hot out there, sometimes you want to be groomed. Sometimes you need to keep the grass a little low, all right? It makes it a little bit more breathable down there, all right? So shout out to Manscaped for that. But more importantly, I know I always come up here and talk about the Lawnmower 4.0. Because I like it. I do. With the light turns on and off. We know that. We like to get tactile every once in a while.
High technology.
But can I tell you a secret, man?
What's up?
Earlier today, bro, as I was going through I'm getting ready for today's show to the work, I noticed I had some hairs coming out my nose.
No way.
I did. And I couldn't believe it because I typically don't. I'm like, bro, what is this? And it hit me. They got the weed whacker. I went into my Manscaped care package 4.0.
You didn't use it up to this point?
No, I had it because I didn't need to.
Right.
And I found it. I clicked it on. Bink. Kept me clean and nice. Look at that. Perfect. So shout out to Manscaped. But make sure whatever you do, because as we always do and as we always say, if we're going to talk about somebody, we got to have a promo code.
Well, that comes in the whole bundle too, right?
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And the promo code right there is MOATS. You use that, you get your 20% off along with free shipping worldwide. And like my man Deke just said, when you get that lawnmower, or you get that performance package to 4.0, not only do you get the lawnmower 4.0, but you also get that weed whacker I was talking about. Keep them nose hairs fresh and clean. And you got revivers for that crop. And you can't forget about the refresher as well. So stay refreshed, stay revived. But whatever you do, make sure you Manscaped so your delicate twins will thank you. So now it's time for what the people want to talk about, the negatives.
Well, I'm just here so I don't get fined. People are probably asking, is Big Ben done? My answer is no. On to Green Bay. That's all I have to say.
All right. Interesting.
No, the O-line, obviously. Big Ben didn't play too well. I didn't like some of the drops. Ebron, definitely. Defense, James Pierre. Letting up that touchdown to Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. But we talked about this at the game, and I think you have a really good point. When you have James Pierre, undrafted rookie, as much as I'm high on him, as much as Steeler Nation was high on him, going up against the first overall pick, Jamar Chase, not the first overall pick, but first overall pick for them.
Top 5 pick, yeah.
You could see. We were in that corner of the end zone where he caught the ball. He just outraced him because it didn't look like Pierre was necessarily getting burned by any moves. He just went straight line. He couldn't keep up with him. Defensive line, pretty bad, or just even like the outside linebackers too, just the front seven, not really Bush or Schobert, but dude, when you got a dude 48 out there, we might as well have picked up Cassius Marsh. Damn it. Like he's playing 50% of the time, him and Jameer Jones.
This is true.
Undrafted guys, dudes that weren't on the team last week. At least 48 wasn't. Jameer Jones was on our team, but we weren't expecting Jameer Jones to get literally any time throughout this whole season.
This is true.
That's what happens when you have TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. So another thing I guess I could toss in there is injuries and just being unlucky a little bit. It's ridiculous, both that and the receivers. That might be it.
And for those that might be asking who's 48, he's talking about Derek, I believe it's Tuska. I think that's how you say his last name.
Zero pressures on Burrow.
Yeah, he was a 7th round draft pick a year ago to Denver out of North Dakota State.
Hell, toss Boswell in there. And unfortunately, too, we just had an interview with him, Presley Harvin. I didn't think he had the best of punts.
Yeah.
That's really minuscule compared to a lot of the other stuff, but...
So to just make sure I got this right, you said 48. You said press it a little bit.
Yeah, what, are we going backwards? Like
no, I'm just trying to make sure I remember them all right. So you said
48, 40. Jameer Jones, defensive line, just trying to stop the run, essentially. So it could be any of those guys.
Okay.
Pierre.
Okay.
Hayden, I can't really toss him in there. I mean, he did give up that touchdown, didn't he? That was more on the Ben pick, though. Like, we gave him a free 7 points there.
Okay.
We were right at the 20. He threw it right to the guy. They scored right after that.
Yeah.
Because Joe Burrow, I don't think he had that amazing of a game. It was just really opportunistic.
Okay.
30 seconds left before half. He's able to throw up a bomb to Jamar Chase, and then he also throws that one in the back of the end zone right after Ben threw the pick. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, it did turn into more game flow where they were just handing it off and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought we held Burrow in check. Still won the game, though, at the end of the day. Still had 3 touchdowns. But yeah, I think defense was more defensive line.
Okay.
We got screwed by the ref on that one call with the 30-second pass before half, that roughing the passer. Still, Pierre got burned.
Okay.
Offensive line, Ben didn't play well. And some of those drops.
Man, I felt like you named like everything. I thought you was going to name a couple.
It was a rough game. It was a bad game, bro. It was a bad game.
My man just went down and listened. Yo, it was this. Actually, he could get it too now that I think about it. Yeah, him too. Like, I like it. All right.
Yesterday was a bad game.
My bad.
It was just one of those bad games.
I'm with it. I just.
Trust me, I'm not coming in here like all these other clowns out here saying the season's over, Ben's done, and all this shit. We got 14 more games in this season. Come on.
All right.
We had a ton of injuries in that game. We're going to right the ship.
So, look into what people in the chat said about what they didn't like about the Steelers' performance. Alrighty. We gotta get to some of these nicer ones. Here we go. We'll find a nice one. Here we go.
You can say whatever you want.
We're going to find... So, Caleb Cole. Shout out to Caleb Cole. He brings up... I believe this guy's name is E Booty. I think it's talking about Ebron. That's what I think it is. E Booty. Yes, definitely Ebron. So he says Ebron. They go Big Ben in all caps and O-line. All right. Next up, Bart Basquiato says Pierre's problem is the cushion he gives wide receivers at time. Okay, we'll talk about that. Javon Curry says the O-line. Says they flat out suck. Yeah, I can see the sentiment. Okay. All right. DeLorean Waters says literally everything sucked about the game yesterday except Najee. I can understand that sentiment. Whew. Now, Brilla 92 just simply said they're taking Derek Tuska over Cassius Marsh. I know how you feel about your Cassius Marsh. I don't know, which one you don't like a little bit more, but that's where they're drawing that line right now.
It doesn't matter. The point is, we just picked up someone that wasn't even on a team to play in this game, to basically start in this game.
This is very true.
What else are we expecting?
This is true.
The dude that we just paid $28 million, whether or not you think he should be paid that much, is not out there. Like, that's a big deal. He's a lot of impact on our defense.
This is true, man. Hey,
man, Highsmith. I mean, jeez. A ton of injuries, man.
Deke hot. Deke say, yo, growing hurt. I may better get your growing.
No. I'm saying it more in this tone to the people that are just writing the season off all of a sudden.
Yeah.
We had a ton of injuries yesterday still. I think there's some context to it.
Fair enough. Seeing also people bring up the lack of pressure and Malachi Espitia. I think that's how I said that right. I'm butchering it. My bad, Malachi. But either way, Malachi says Matt Canada. And then Yun Rico says number 7 in terms of, what he didn't like about yesterday's performance. Now, for me, the things that I wasn't too fond of, number 1 was the finish. I hated the way that the guys finished offensively and defensively, right? And what I mean by that is it wasn't just in the fourth quarter. We talked about the Tyler Boyd touchdown to start it off, right? You got the coverage part, but no. But this is the thing, right? So first off, obviously, Melvin, you got to wrap up, right? It was a nice hit, but at the NFL level, big hits don't consistently get down players because guys' contact balance is too good. You saw as soon as he got hit, Big Kid, he fell back. But what did he do? Kept his feet moving and ran.
They were still like 10 or 15 yards.
But my issue is not just with Melvin. You go back and watch the tape, look at the guy who was covering Tyler, and look at the guy who's providing help over top. And then once Melvin hits him, watch those guys and how they finish the play or the lack thereof. That can't happen. If they finish, it's not a touchdown. At worst, he's tackled on the 2 or 3 yard line. But realistically, you probably get him a little bit sooner than that if you're playing like you're supposed to. It's another guy that finishes the play where you see him flashing the screen. And it's like, man, if one of y'all would have just slowed him down, this guy for a fact is making that tackle. Finish. We talk about the O-line, right? Some of those holding penalties, it wasn't necessarily always because they were getting just flat out beat. No. You cut the tape on. It's plenty of times I could point to where all 5 of those guys, right? Because everybody brings up Kendrick Green. These guys are in position, in place, blocking these guys. What we say, right? 4 seconds, you blocking great. Last 2 seconds, your feet die, hands get lazy. Next thing you know, Ben steps this way. Now your guy moves one way or the other, catches him off guard. And what do? That's a hold. That is a flag. And then don't give me this at the end, because remember, we laughed about that in the stands. You're like, bro, that wasn't that bad. Look at him put his hands up. I said, well, why you put his hands up like that then? I ain't never seen a guy that doesn't hold do this. It just doesn't happen like that. But that comes from when they have just a lapse in judgment where they're just, all right, I'm good, but now I'm going to relax. I'm good. I don't need to finish as hard anymore. That can't happen. You have to play through the whistle. That's what we always talk about. They're not doing that consistently enough. So to me, the finish part, I just really wasn't fond of. The next thing is the discipline. You got 10 freaking penalties.
It was terrible.
You cannot have, with this team, the way it's constructed right now, they are not good enough to have 10 plus turnovers and lose the turnover battle and still expect to win. Oh, and we're going to sprinkle in some drops in there too. They're not that talented where they can have all of those flaws versus a team that's comparable to them and expect them to win. And that was the thing to me. I was just like, why are y'all playing so sloppy? Like, y'all are just that much better than this team when we know going in.
We even talked about it. Yeah. Bengals look kind of decent this year so far.
And then when you throw in no TJ, no Alex, no Deontay, you're like, no Tyson as well.
No
you need to operate even better. You gotta be on the screws even more so. And I just felt like they were really lackadaisical in those departments, and that showed up consistently. How many times did me and you look at each other in the stadium like, man, that was a good play. Oh, coming back. Oh, that was a good play. Oh, coming back. Oh, what was holding? Oh, what was that? Holding. You go back and watch the tape, and I'm like, bro, you didn't even need the hold. You were in position. Just finish. But is that
we had how many drives and good plays thwarted by these penalties?
Is that not what we talked about week 1? Is that not what we talked about week 2? Here we are coming after week 3 saying the same exact thing.
It wasn't as highlighted as much, but I mean, really, after last game, it feels way worse.
But the only reason it wasn't highlighted is because we won against Buffalo, and everybody took that as, oh, everything is perfect.
Right. Us getting the dub was nice.
Getting the dub, sure, but it masked the issues that were still very much present and have still been continuing on throughout these first 3 games. And that's the part where it's like, not just us as a team, they got to understand that and have that tough conversation with people. They got to say, hey, man, we're going to ruffle feathers, but this isn't acceptable. I don't care what money is. I don't care in terms of, well, this is our guy. He's supposed to get these opportunities. At times, you do got to make changes. And that's the thing that I was a little bit frustrated with, just seeing that part just continue on a little bit, man.